Alright, let me take a second to demonstrate peace through strength. Let's, for hypothetical purposes, say that you're a bully and you want to pick on someone. Who are you more apt to pick on? Some little tiny defenseless critter who could more than likely not defend themselves very well? Or some maniac who could literally rip your arm off should she so desire? That's the definition of peace through strength in its simplest terms. The trick is not to become a bully yourself along the way. Because when the maniac becomes the bully, then we all have a problem. Now, on to the main part of the problem, and something that a lot of people keep overlooking. Being involved with machinery and maintenance of machinery and just building things in general. I've noticed something over the years. When a breakdown occurs, most people only concentrate on the breakdown in that day and don't realize that more than likely the cause of it happened a long time ago through some simple mistake or operator failure or something silly. And more often than not, it ends up being something really simple, really stupid. Like somebody having a bad day, banging up against something and thinking when they drove away that it was going to be all right a little while later. When the effects of that little tiny incident had big repercussions down the road. Or another example, I suppose, somebody framing a wall who didn't want to pick up the square and make sure it was all plumb and true before they actually put it up. Leading things to go astray so that your paneling or your drywall doesn't fit right all the way down the line. What we must understand is that the military-industrial complex, or the deep state as it's called, was established a long time ago. Eisenhower tried to warn us about it on his speech right before he gave up office after World War II. It's their job, or their mission, you might say, to build covert operations around the world to keep other countries in conflict with each other so that they can make money. That's what they do. That's what they've done for a long time. It's their business. And as long as the American public and the world, for that fact, is blind to it or asleep to it, they've been able to get away with their bullshit for years and years. And when you sign on with the military-industrial complex, who are the deep state, which, by the way, are the globalists, when business is slow, they'll be more than happy to turn on you because the machine has to grind on. And when the money drives up, you have to cause another war someplace so that you can feed the machine, keep conflict going, and keep the military-industrial complex alive. That's why Eisenhower and Kennedy both said the need for ever-increasing security will eventually erode our rights as citizens. So, bear that in mind in the future, because this has been going on for a long time. And the pieces that happened way back then that threw everything into potential disarray are just today becoming obvious and apparent to everyone else. And for those of you who are old enough to remember, Iran has been trying to get their hooks in Iraq for a long time in order to control the region, to spread what they deem to be their philosophy and way of life. But what they don't realize as of yet is that they've been duped by the military-industrial conflicts into doing their dirty work for them to keep conflict going and the money rolling in. For those of you that have been following me long enough, you've heard me talk about all of this before, about control mechanisms and how machinery is put together, and in order to get to whatever piece you might be after, you might have to go through the carburetor, the intake, the head, the cylinder heads, and so forth and so on, to be able to get to the affected piece to make the repair. The only real difference here is that it's all being done right out in the open, right in front of you, before your very eyes. And some of you have even been exposed to the service manual along the way and know the pieces that are involved. So you really don't have any excuses not to make the connections, unless all you're about is pissing and moaning and looking the other way. But in review, nothing was ever going to get fixed as long as our military was like this. However, things will be taken a lot more seriously when it's built up like this.